All right, let's have a conversation about Shador Sanders. So the Cleveland Browns yesterday named Dillon Gabriel as their starting quarterback. No surprise. Kevin Stefanski had sort of held back on saying Joe Flacco was definitely going to start this week. He talked about the offense needed to be better as a whole. It's on everyone. Generally, when a coach does that, it's time for a quarterback change. And Dillon Gabriel is now the starter. That is interesting, but I feel like the most interesting thing is that Shador Sanders is not the backup. Joe Flacco is still the backup quarterback, which he has earned, right? I mean, that's based on his play, he should not be the number 3.
An insider from the NFL just confirmed what everyone thought but didn't want to say out loud. Kevin Stefanski didn't ask Jimmy Haslam to start Shador Sanders. He wanted it. Ian Rapoport went on the air and told everyone what really happened in Cleveland behind closed doors. And it's worse than anyone thought. From owner Jimmy Haslam on down, the plan has always been to play him. If that was always the plan, why wasn't Shedeur getting first-team reps?
What about Shedeur? So here's a couple reasons why he's still the number 3, and then we'll get to the miming from in the locker room. First of all, he's not ready. He's just not. Like, the NFL is a lot. Sounds like the knowledge base he brought in from college football was just not enough to really hit the ground running, and it has to be basically a year of learning, which is okay. And this is why he was a 5th rounder, not a 1st rounder. He needs to learn. He doesn't know. He's not ready. He's trying. They like his innate sense. They like his intangibles. They like his all the stuff. He's just not ready.
Why did it take a concussion to Dillon Gabriel and what insiders are calling pressure from the top to finally get the 5th-round steal on the field? Stefanski didn't want to do this, though. The 5th-round pick should have been a 1st-round pick. But what happened next will shock you right now. What we're seeing in Cleveland is more than just a battle for the quarterback. This is a full-blown fight for power between an owner who knows talent when he sees it and a head coach who won't admit he was wrong. And the crazy thing is that everyone in the football world saw it happen live. Because context is important, let me take you back to the beginning of this whole thing. The Browns picked Shador Sanders with the 144th pick in the 5th round. And from the start, something didn't feel right. Most draft experts thought this kid would go late in the 1st round. Mel Kiper Jr. thought he was the best quarterback in the whole draft class, but he went all the way down to the 5th round. And when Cleveland got him, it was like they won the lottery, right? Not true. Kevin Stefanski buried him on the depth chart behind Dillon Gabriel instead of giving him reps, developing him, or treating him like the franchise-saving quarterback he could be. And this is where it gets interesting. Stefanski was publicly backing Gabriel week after week, but Jimmy Haslam was saying something very different behind the scenes. Dan Graciano of ESPN broke the news that Jimmy Haslam said it was very important to look at both rookie quarterbacks before the 2026 draft, even though Stefanski was playing coy about when or if Shedeur would see the field. Take a moment to think about that. The team's owner is publicly disagreeing with how his head coach does things. That doesn't happen all the time. That's not how organizations that work well do things. That's ownership saying, I don't care what you want. The comeback is going to happen my way. And Heavy.com said what it was. And do you know what the news called it? The comeback said that Haslam went over the coach's head to start Shador Sanders. Heavy.com went even further, saying that team owner Jimmy Haslam had ordered it. Not a suggestion or a recommendation, but a command. Once the order came down from above, Stefanski had no choice in the matter. Now, let's talk about why this happened. Dillon Gabriel's performance made it impossible for Stefanski to keep defending his choice. Gabriel played in 6 games for the Browns and won 1 and lost 5. He got a PFF grade of 49.0, which put him in 39th place out of 39 qualified quarterbacks. 39th out of 39. That's the very last one. He threw for an average of 117 yards per game, and he only completed 2 of 8 passes that went more than 20 yards. The offense was hard to watch. For Browns fans who have already been through a lot, games felt like punishment. Stefanski kept putting him out there week after week, though. Kept giving him chances with the first team. Kept saying Gabriel was the answer when everyone with working eyes could see he wasn't. If you like this crazy organization, make sure to hit that subscribe button because things are about to get even crazier. The local news turned against Stefanski, and that's when the whispers started to get louder. Stefanski was getting a lot of hate from Cleveland radio hosts. Tony Rizzo said on ESPN Cleveland, "How can this kid, who was rated as a late first-round draft pick, not get on the field for a team that sucks? They aren't even giving him any practice time. The coach is to blame for that. Stefanski will have to pay for that." Aaron Goldhammer, his co-host, went even harder. "I think Coach Stefanski would rather lose his job than play Shador Sanders, which is where we are right now." Take a moment to think about that. People who cover this team every day in the local news were openly wondering if the head coach would rather lose his job than admit he was wrong about who to start at quarterback. The concussion that changed everything. And then it happened. The moment that made everything different. Game in Baltimore on November 16th. Dillon Gabriel gets hit and has to follow concussion protocol. Stefanski has no choice now. Shador Sanders comes in to help out in the game. And yes, it was hard. 4 completions out of 16 attempts, 47 yards, and 1 interception. Not very nice. But you know what? It made the organization do something. It gave Jimmy Haslam the chance he needed to do what he had wanted to do for months. Stefanski said that Shedeur would start against the Raiders in Week 22. And for the first time since being drafted, the kid finally got to practice with the first team. Please let me say that again. They had this possible franchise quarterback sitting on the bench for the first time, and he hadn't even been seen with the starting offense in months. That's not progress. The kid has historic sabotage, or at least a staff that didn't want him. Before the Raiders game, Gabriel passed the concussion protocol. He was healthy enough to play, but Stefanski kept Shedeur as the starter. When asked about it, he gave this answer that was politically correct. "The most important thing for a quarterback to do is win. So happy to have gotten that first win. But come on, dude. We all know what really went down. It was decided from above." Then Shedeur went out there and showed everyone who didn't believe in him that they were wrong. Brown's first rookie quarterback to win his first game since 1995. Think about it. For 30 years, they have been looking for a rookie quarterback who could win his first game. And Shedeur does it against the Raiders, the team that should have drafted him, the team that was linked to him months before the draft and passed on him several times, and they probably regret it now. That throw to Isaiah Bond was crazy. Perfectly placed, 52 yards in the air, the Browns' longest completion of the whole 2025 season. Myles Garrett, their star defensive player, said after the game, "There aren't many guys in the league who can make that throw." That was a great throw. When your defensive end is going crazy over how good your rookie quarterback's arm is, you know something special has happened. The way champions think sets them apart. But let's talk about what Shedeur said before and after the game. This is where you can see the difference between good and great players. A sideline reporter asks him what he wants to show Browns fans before the game. Most new players would answer in a humble and politically correct way. Not Shedeur. He looks straight into the camera and says, "I'm the one they've been looking for." Then he walks away. That's not being arrogant. That's faith. That's a man who knows what he has to offer and isn't afraid to say it. After the game, he talked to everyone who wanted him to lose. "A lot of people want me to fail, but that's not going to happen." And you know what? He supported it. He didn't just talk. He did what he said he would do. He made his first career start, won his first game, and had a historic performance. Now he is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Both Ian Rapoport and Adam Schefter said it was true. For Week 32 and beyond, Shador Sanders will be the starting quarterback. Shedeur is the guy, even if Gabriel is healthy and ready to play. You can't put the genie back in the bottle once you let it out and give people what they want. The "just one game" argument falls apart. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I know some people will say it's just one game, the Raiders' defense is bad, or don't overreact. And yes, it's just one start, but the situation is important. This kid didn't just win. He was the first rookie quarterback for the Browns in 30 years to win his first game. He threw the longest pass of the year. He gave a team that looked dead for the first 11 weeks new life and energy. He did things that Dillon Gabriel never did in 6 starts. This is the part that should scare the rest of the league. This is only the start. Shedeur had 1 week of first-team reps before this start. He had 1 week to build chemistry with the receivers. 1 week to learn the game plan with the starting offense, and 1 week to get ready. He still looked better than the guy who had been getting all those reps since training camp. Think about what will happen when he gets more time, more experience, and more chances to work with the first team. The schedule coming up is also pretty good. Nurs this week, and then the Dolphins. Both games can be won. Then a game against the Bengals for revenge, and another against the Bears, where Shedeur can go pound for pound with Caleb Williams like he did in college. There won't be any talk about drafting another quarterback in 2026 if Shedeur goes 4-2 or even 3-3 down the stretch. He will have earned the job for good. The problems that happen behind the scenes. But this is what really bothers me about the whole thing. The problems that are going on behind the scenes. Even though Stefanski and Shedeur both say there's no tension, we know better. We have read the reports. We heard what the insiders had to say. ESPN said that the draft room footage showed nothing less than loud applause when Shedeur's name was called. That means the coaches weren't happy. They didn't want him.
Benjamin Albright, an NFL insider, said that there was definitely a split in the room. Some people liked other options better, but when the owners speak, decisions usually follow. That's as clear as it gets. The coaches wanted someone else, ownership wanted Shedeur, and in the end, they got what they wanted. Jimmy Haslam tried to downplay his role by saying, "That's Andrew Berry's call at the end of the day." It was Andrew Berry's choice to pick Shedeur. Sports Illustrated, on the other hand, said that Haslam made it clear that GM Andrew Berry, not Stefanski, wanted to draft Sanders. So, the coach's decision was overturned in his own building. That makes people angry. That makes things tense. That means the coach isn't fully committed to helping the quarterback improve. Success in spite of the situation. That's why Shedeur's success is even more impressive. He did well even though things were hard for him. He won even though he hadn't been on the first team in months. He won even though the coaching staff didn't want him, according to reports. He won even though a lot of people said he fell to the 5th round because of problems off the field. We all know his on-field talent was first-round caliber. ESPN said it best. The draft, his slide in the draft, had to do with things off the field, not on the field. Mel Kiper gives people grades based on how well they play. That's why he thought he was the best quarterback to come out of the draft. And guess what? Mel Kiper was correct. We just saw it happen in Week 22. The future is uncertain. So, this is where we are. Jimmy Haslam made Kevin Stefanski do something, and it might have saved the Browns' future. Shador Sanders won his first career start, made history, and showed that he's everything Cleveland has been looking for since they came back to the NFL in 1999. They've tried 42 different starting quarterbacks. 42. And now they might finally have the right person. The conflict between owning a team and coaching it isn't going away. There really is dysfunction in that building. But you know what else is real? Shador Sanders has a lot of arm talent, confidence, and the ability to come through when it counts. We might not have seen it if Jimmy Haslam hadn't stepped in and said this kid should get a chance. It's no longer a question of whether Shedeur can play. He said that on Sunday. The question is whether the Browns can get out of their own way long enough to let him grow into the franchise quarterback they really need. Browns fans will never forgive them if they let coaching politics and front office drama ruin this kid's potential. In conclusion, this isn't just about one game. This is about management having the guts to go against a stubborn coaching staff. This is about a 5th-round pick showing that he should have gone in the 1st round. This is about a rookie quarterback who walks into the worst football team in the league and says, "I'm who you've been looking for." Then what? In the next few weeks, we'll know everything. Will Stefanski fully accept Shedeur and help him out? Will Jimmy Haslam keep stepping in when he needs to? Will the Browns finally get the quarterback situation right? Leave your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you think Jimmy Haslam was right to make Stefanski make a decision? Or should coaches have full control over who is on their team? Are you on Team Haslam or Team Stefanski? And most importantly, is Shador Sanders the franchise quarterback that Cleveland has been looking for? You're one of the few people who really gets what's going on in Cleveland if you've read this far.
Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we're going to show you every step of Shedor's journey this season. You don't want to miss a single second of this story that could shape the Browns' next 10 years.
Tell every Browns fan who needs to know about the power struggle that just saved their team. Leave a comment below with your guess for Shedor's next game against the 49ers. Let's see if this kid can keep proving the naysayers wrong, one great performance at a time.